Oh, hey there everyone. I was just sitting here thinking of monkeys and you all walked in, so welcome. Why not stick around? Maybe we'll tell a little story. Is that sound good to you? Sounds good to me. Yeah, let's tell a story. So the other day I was taking a shower and... Pong! So I went and got a copy of that game off the internet, sat down and decided, I'll give it a shot. Now, that wasn't fun, really. Maybe back in the day, but definitely not anymore. I was looking for something a little more sleek, a little more exciting, a little more modern. So I decided to go back to the shower and see what I could think of next. Pong! Specifically, the next level. So for those of you who don't know, It's Back, or I guess it's technically just Pong the Next Level, was a game released by Hasbro Interactive and Atari back in 1999 for the PS1. And what it was a 3D, modern, more stuff going on version of the classic game Pong. And of course, being advertised on the back of it as well is stuff like The Next Tetris, Missile Command, and Q*bert, all old classic games, being re-released on the PS1. Now, I grew up with this game, sort of. I remember it when I was like a little kid, like in kindergarten, maybe a little bit older than that as well. And I remember things like the soccer game here on the back, and this water one here in the corner. But overall, I don't have much of a memory other than I finally hit a brick wall and stopped playing it. Now, I was also playing this around the same time that I was playing Frogger on the PS1, and later in life I would come across Frogger 2 Swampy's Revenge, and I remember thinking that game sucked. I'll be covering Frogger and Frogger 2 shortly, a couple weeks or so maybe, but for right now I want to pop Pong in and see if it's as good as I remember, because I do remember it being good. And the reviews on Amazon and eBay said it was good, so let's find out. Released in late 1999 for PC and Mac, Game Boy Color, and the version we'll be looking at today, PS1, Pong the Next Level is the canonical sequel to the original 1972 game. Don't let the Wikipedia page fool you, it's a sequel and not a remake. How do I know? This one has a story to it, duh. Now, we should take a look here at the booklet. Games back then used to come with these little paper book-like things in the case called instruction manuals, which were used to explain how the game worked, give some story, and sometimes let you preview the enemies and bosses. Why did I just tell you that? Because they basically don't exist anymore and someone has to remember that they do, damn it. So let's just take a look here. Oh look, the controls. If we have issues later on, we can take a look at these. Oh look, there's a story in this game. I know I mentioned that earlier, just didn't think I was being serious. Okay, well, let's see what the story is. We'll be taking control of a Pong as we try and win our way through the levels in a quest to become... Okay, interesting word choice here, instruction manual.
The Supreme Pong.
Okay, wait a second, what? Those things are called Pongs? I thought they were called paddles. Let me go check the internet real quick. Yeah, they were called paddles in pretty much everything that isn't this manual. Oh well, I guess it's Pong canon now? Yeah, that's one of the weirdest things I've ever said. Anyway, getting back on track here. In order to finish our quest to become
the Supreme Pong,
we will need to fight our way through widely varied arenas and defeat... Dear fucking god, I can't believe I'm saying this. Pong Guardians. Pong Guardians. By defeating these Pong Guardians, we will prove ourselves to be
the Supreme Pong.
Pong Masters. What the fuck am I even saying right now? It then wishes us, oh, fuck me, happy ponging. Happy ponging. Ugh, let's just keep going with this manual. We've got some summaries of what the pause menu looks like, explanation of the multiplayer, basic stuff that I'll be covering myself, so we don't really need to handle that here. Wait, what's this at the end? Oh my god, it's a history of the arcade version and a list of other things that happened in 1972. We've got such amazing things as Marlon Brando being in The Godfather, Governor Wallace shot by a gunman and left paralyzed, that's a bit dark. Mark Spitz wins a record 7 gold medals at the Munich Olympics. Okay, that's pretty nice. Terrorists kill 11 Israeli athletes. Right back into the dark shit manual. Holy crap, going down this list, it just stays dark. The release of Deliverance shakes up audiences. Jackie Robinson dies, and the world chess title is won by someone new. Chess. So the load screens are kinda sci-fi, bleeping and blooping noises with a spinning Atari logo. That's kinda cool. So I bet you're wondering at this point, what do you do in this game? Well, we already went over that shit when we talked about the manual. Well, what the manual didn't tell us is that we will need to earn gold bars for completing each portion of each stage. You see, the game overall is split into worlds, which are then split into 4 different levels each, which are in turn split into 3 different versions of that level, with most of those versions getting harder as you progress. Your overall goal, to become
the Supreme Pong,
can only be achieved by collecting as many of these gold bars as possible and filling the Atari logo up with gold. So, to start with our adventure, let's just go into the first world, which I will lovingly call the basic ass bitch Pong Arena, and choose our first level, Penguins. We'll just choose the version that we're allowed to play and... Oh dear. What is that noise? Is that the paddle? I mean the fucking Pong? It sounds like some sort of overexcited child hopped up on sugar having a fucking fit. Christ, that's annoying. Please tell me that doesn't happen every time you load into a level. Oh dear God, it does! Please help me! Okay, we're okay now. Whew. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Let's just see how this first level plays. Okay, so we got our normal looking Pong level, but we have 2 penguins walking along it. I guess the challenge will be to avoid hitting them with the ball. Alright, not too bad of a start here. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is just bad or actually kind of funny. The penguins pooping out new balls for you to play with is actually an incredibly interesting way to play. You have to avoid hitting them if you don't want the hassle of trying to deal with more than one ball, or you can purposefully aim for them to try and trip up the AI opponent. It's actually a really fun twist on Pong, but the fact the penguins are pooping out new balls is just weird. Oh well, if it's fun, it's fun. I just score 10 points and perfect. 3 gold bars for me and we can move on to the next level. So to progress, like I said, you need gold bars earned by beating different versions of all the levels. All of the new levels are unlocked by getting 3 more gold bars than the previous one required, which is exactly how many you get for beating the first version of each level. This means you never have to beat the second and third versions of levels, the harder ones, in order to progress and unlock the rest of the game. This is pretty neat, as it means you can unlock levels for multiplayer a lot faster, but we'll get to that in a bit. Wait a second, these are gold bars, right? Yeah, gold bars. The logo fills gold, the icon before matches gold, they're gold bars. Why then, for whatever fucking reason, does the menu icon show them as fucking copper bars? Look at it, that's fucking copper. Disagree and think it's just a darker gold? I fucking checked online. Here are the 2 side by fucking side. That's copper. Like, how hard would it be for the developers to just make the texture used in the menu the same color as the one used everywhere else? Look, the Atari logo's fucked up too. What the fuck? Anyway, you collect the gold bars and move along to the next level. This soccer level isn't anything to write home about. It's basically Pong foosball. You control 2 paddles, or Pongs and try and score on the enemy. The most interesting part is if you tie, you have to go into this penalty shot minigame that kinda sucks. At least it's an interesting twist. We win this game and get our 3 gold bars. On to the next one. After the soccer level comes a dumb level I don't care about, and the first of the non-competitive games, the clown level. What do I mean by non-competitive games? There are a few levels that don't pit you against an enemy AI. Instead, they're more like puzzles or action sequences. You're given a task to do and you just have to do it. In this case, you have to match colored balls to the proper receptacle by tilting the game board. It's not really that hard once you understand the pattern. In fact, it was such a nice change of pace and so easy, I decided to do the second version of it just for funsies. Now, it took me a lot longer to actually execute the pattern on the second one. This isn't on the game as far as I'm concerned, I just suck. I try and I try and I try, and finally, I win. Now to take my 3 gold bars and... wait, what? 2? I only get 2 for the second version of a level? That's kinda backwards. I beat the harder level and am rewarded with less gold bars? Maybe it's a glitch. Maybe it's just because they think the clown level isn't that hard, so you don't deserve the gold bars for some reason. Okay, what? So throughout this whole game, it seems, you only get 3 gold bars for the easiest version of a level, 2 for the middle difficulty, and a measly 1 gold bar for the hardest difficulty. What madness is this? Why are you rewarded less for much harder work? Seriously, aside from one specific level on this whole disc, all of the second and third versions of levels are noticeably harder than the first. With that being the case, there's no good reason for them to give out less of a reward. But if they give out more gold bars, it'd be easier to skip levels. The way it is now, you have to beat all 3 versions of a level to just skip 1, or 2 middle difficulty ones. It's balanced. To that I say, then just flip the rewards. Make the first version worth only 1 gold bar, the middle one worth 2, and the last one worth 3. In this way, it takes completing versions 1 and 2 of the first level to reach level 2, and beating version 3 of the first level to skip over level 2 entirely. In this way, you're not only getting players to see more of your game, but also making the reward of putting the work in for the really hard versions of levels actually worth someone's time. As it is now, I personally didn't complete any of the third version challenges because they just weren't worth my time. I felt that there was no reward for doing so, and the challenge alone didn't exactly call to me. So clearly, doing things the other way around would have made much, much more sense. Whatever. We get past all this crap and continue on through the door at the top of the level and enter World 2. Who the fuck would visit this? The museum. For the record, I also considered Fuck You Museum as the name of this world. Why? It contains the 2 worst levels in the entire game as far as I'm concerned. There's one other level that might belong there with them, but we're saving that one for a bit later. The first 2 levels of World 2 are complete and total ass, and both for similar reasons. Let's start with the first level in World 2, Beach Party. This level sees you grabbing the ball with each touch of the paddle, or Pong, rather than it just bouncing off of you. And once more, you're in control of 2 paddles, or Pongs. What's the problem, I hear you ask? Well, I'll tell you. There are 2 major issues. Number 1 is that the controls on this water are capital G-A-R-B-A-G-E. You're incredibly slow, which does not fit well with the fast movement of the ball. But then sometimes the game seems to think you're on ice, likely a glitch as version 2 of this level actually is on ice and plays identically to the frustrating sudden sliding. But only sometimes, which leads to your paddle, Pong, going all the way across the field when you didn't want it to. Like here. I wish you could see my inputs. I'm 100% not holding the button this long. There's no reason to, and yet my paddle, or Pong, goes all the way to the edge. It feels like either a serious glitch or a cheap way to make you miss some balls and lose more often. Speaking of cheap ways to make you lose, the AI. This problem is shared between Beach Party and the next level, Rock and Roll. The AI in most of the game, but especially these 2 levels, feels like it's incredibly cheap. Most of the time it works like you'd expect, but other times it does either completely stupid shit that only a retarded baby would do, such as move out of the way of the ball and let you score, something my girlfriend actually does. Here's the footage. And other times it will manage to hit the ball just barely from all the way across the field. and I think I know why it does this. My guess is that as this game is so insanely basic, just hit the ball and use power-ups, AI would be incredibly easy to code. The game knows better than you exactly where the ball is going to be at any moment. The only real variable outside of its knowledge is what you're going to do next. Because of this, it's likely super easy to make an AI that would be able to hit the ball back 99 out of 100 times. And that's just not fun to play against. So my guess is that they added in an RNG, with most of the numbers meaning do about average, and some meaning do something completely stupid, and be perfect as well. If this is the case, it feels like these two levels are generating way more be perfect chances. I managed to use exploits to beat the beach party level, but the rock and roll one? No joke, it took me 35 tries. Now, I'm not the most amazing player of video games the world has ever seen. I'm close, but not the best. But this level made me look like I had never touched a controller before in my life. It's stupid hard, and I can't think of any good reason why, other than the AI pulling some stupidly unfair moves out of its ass. This was the only level I had to go around by beating some other level, and that was the much easier ice version of Beach Party. This level has no right being this hard. Some would have the AI pulling off insane saves one right after the other, making it almost impossible to win. Those, though, would only take 2 or 3 tries before I could finally beat them and move on. It's actually another reason why I didn't continue to go to the third version challenges. The AI seemed like it'd be more unfair, and the rewards, again, just aren't worth it. Anyway, more boring who cares levels and another exit door. On to the weird vent pipe thing world. There's nothing really of note here except for the weird ice hockey level and a crappy fishing game. One thing I've yet to mention so far, by the way, is the fact that once you've chosen a level and it takes you to the version screen, there's no going back. You're forced to pick a version and load the level. You cannot just hit triangle or something and go back to the level select. It's actually incredibly annoying, and the only reason I play the fish game here. Something else I just noticed, it looks like these doors have eyes, and with the fire background, it just looks unsettling. Moving on to World 4, Stonehenge Sheepland. Again, nothing much to notice here aside from 2 different non-competitive games in a row. Moving on now, World 5, the Frigid Bitch. I really want to know why these worlds are the way they are. We're climbing a tower, and it does seem like these have something to do with that. World 3 was some sort of furnace, and World 5 here seems to be the AC vents with a weird circular hatch. But once you're inside, it makes even less sense. Also, this doesn't explain Worlds 4, 1, 2, or any of the others, just what's going on here? All that's in this world are a level that I won entirely by not knowing what the fuck I was doing. No, really, I completely lost any sense of what was going on in this level and yet still managed to win. A puzzle game with frogs that's interesting but frustrating, and the other hardest level in the game. Basically, this is a pinball machine. The issue? You only can control bumping, which is incredibly hard to manage and most of the time fucks everything up so it's not worth it, and the difficulty selector only changes how many times the left and the right protectors can be hit before they drop. Basically, it's luck the level. Next! World 6, Purple Space Tube. Here we have a chicken pooping game that is a test of your skill at controlling where on the paddle the ball hits. An annoying non-competitive game with penguins that don't poop when they're hit by the ball, and no other levels because the developers got a bit lazy on this world. Alright then. At the top of the
Pong Tower of Pong Mastery,
we have World 7, the Golden Arches. These 3 aren't even levels, they're versions. They're basically just a climb up each side of the Atari logo where you match colors of balls to colors of holes. Don't read into that, kids. And are incredibly frustrating as when you miss a color, the ball drops to the previous floors. If there are no holes that match the color of the ball on the way down, you lose. This means restarting, seeing the damn 3-second cooldown that this game does every fucking time you start a level, which for the rock and roll level you'll do a lot. Why they couldn't just let the ball fall off and start over from the beginning without the you lose screen and countdown is beyond me. It's just frustrating, which ends up making the level harder as you get more and more and more angry. Once you beat the first version of this level, you're called a winner and earn access to the 8th and final world, the cold depths of space. Where you will quickly die as you didn't bring any oxygen with you, and I know you're not wearing a spacesuit. Don't even try to lie to me right now. It's in this world that we get access to a slightly jankier looking of classic Pong, you know, the 1972 version. When you complete the 2nd and 3rd versions of every other level, you earn a hockey and football version of Pong too, but since I can't be bothered to do those stupid things, I guess you'll just have to imagine them. Use your thinker. So that's Pong, the next level for you. Is it any good? I think the AI has a few too many issues. It can be way too hard in some parts, way too easy in others. It leads to incredible amounts of frustration when you're playing through single player and unlocking everything, and that's just Other than that, it is a rather fun game, and if you can get some friends together, this game supports up to 4-person multiplayer, then this becomes a lot more fun. The gimmicky style of gameplay for stuff like the soccer or hockey levels is actually really, really fun to play, and with up to 4 players sitting around one TV trying to beat each other in Pong, it's pretty good. Now, if you can't get a PS1 copy, or if you don't have a way to play PS1 with 4 people, especially if you don't have a multi-tap, then what I would recommend is there is a PC version of this game that is apparently identical to the PS1 version. Like, they are the same game, and that one you should be able to play up to 4 players without needing crazy multi-taps and an old PS1 laying around. So I would seriously recommend it for some good old-fashioned multiplayer gaming fun. And that's about all there is to say about Pong the Next Level. It's Pong for the PS1. What do you expect? And now that I've got this out of the way, I've got another video to work on. You've got some liking and subscribing to do, and some purchasing of old games to do. So I'll get right on that, I guess. Alright, what game next? What game next? Could do... Dark Cloud? Nah, I don't feel like Dark Cloud. Could do... Oh, what's this? Dark Souls? Nah. Could do... Army Men Sarge's Heroes. Nah. Aha! I know what we'll do next. He's back. Frogger! Well, thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. I had almost no idea what I was doing while I was doing it, but I felt like it was something I wanted to do, so I did it. If you liked it, please, please, please leave a like and a comment saying how much you loved it, because that will help me know that people want to see more of these. Of course, you could always leave a dislike and a comment telling me what you thought was bad about it, and that will help me make these better for you in the future. If you want to see more stuff like this coming up soon, then please subscribe. You know all of this stuff. Everyone on YouTube always asks you to do all this stuff. There are cards in the upper right-hand corner that will take you to other stuff I've done, and then I will just leave you here at this end card with some music playing, and you can enjoy yourself. So, again, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.